Hey everybody, it's Record Time with Chris, episode 33. It's the last one of 2017 probably, and I had wanted to do an unboxing of the Beatles holiday single box set, but I guess their warehouse lost a pallet or misplaced a pallet, so by the time you see this, Bull Moose will have them, but I don't have anything to show you. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and, just some of the things that caught my attention this year that I didn't have a chance to work into any of the other videos. This has kind of a nice story behind it. A little over a year ago, I found out about a band, and it wasn't something we could get. So I saw it on their Bandcamp page, and it was digital only, which is probably my least preferred format. So I contacted them and said, hey, you guys are awesome. Do you have a CD? Well, a while later, in fact, it was December 3rd, my mother-in-law was dying of cancer, and that was the day that she finally passed away in late evening. And, my wife called me, and we had it was the kind of experience that you'd expect. And then for some reason around midnight or 1 a.m., I checked my email, and there was an email from the guitar player in that band saying, hey, are you the, record store day guy? That's awesome. It's made a big difference to us, and we love it, and we'd love to just send you our CD. And, it's just, in the midst of, after all this, like, really awful, family death, and it was like cancer, so you know how that goes, where it's like years and years, and then the end is just awful for everyone. Just somebody doing this nice thing for me really just helped me so much. So the name of the band is Hard Days, and this is the CD. It's self-titled CD. They are like a hard rock band from Spain. I think they just, within the last few months, they've released this on vinyl. Don't know if they have U.S. distribution, but you might have to order it from Spain from their Bandcamp page. And it's got like really nice, it's sort of psychedelic artwork, pictures of the band playing live. So I'm going to play a little bit of this for you, but what impresses me the most about this, and just listen for this, it's very detailed and like finely crafted music. It's almost like there were a lot of times when they could have just played straight through something where somebody had a cool idea, and then everybody said, wait, what was that riff? Let me get with you on that. And then the drummer was like, oh yeah, hang on, let me match that rhythm or lay out so that your thing can stand out. And just throughout the album, there are all these tasty little bits of things where it's like, it's like the Beatles or something, where everything they try to, like, it just sounds like they're trying to make everything a little bit better. They're not satisfied with it just being an okay song. They have to push it up. So little things like changing key for the guitar solo, or even having completely different chords behind the guitar solo. Well, anyway, just take it. I'll play you some of it.
In a splotch, you build it together, the nights in a splotch. Dirty stone, no other way. When the light follows the train.
This was one of those times when events that couldn't possibly be related feel significant because they happened kind of at the same time. There was one day in October when one of my coworkers came in and she said, "Hey, have you ever heard of the Free Design?" And I said, "No, I haven't." And she said, "Well, her housemate had bought a record by them just based on the cover, and they, took it home, and it was awesome." And the way she described it was like the Partridge Family, because the singers in the Free Design are two brothers and two sisters, all related. So it's like the Partridge Family, that kind of like sunshine pop, happy sound, but backed up by like library music, was how she described it. And then she played for me a song, and I'll play it for you in a second, an excerpt from it. But the cool thing was that a few hours later, after I had fallen in love with the band, we got an email from Light in the Attic with what their Black Friday Record Store Day releases were going to be, and they decided to reissue their version, or their reissue of the first Free Design album. And it was really great. It has this nice booklet in it, and it was really cool, but that's not really the story. So here's the thing. It seems like late 60s, early 70s pop music with kind of cheesy vocals, and I know there's a time in my life when I just would have rejected it. Like, this is corny shit. But here's the thing. The track that she played for me is called Kijay's Ouija. And, that's just a funny rhyme or whatever. And then when I was listening, it was like, "Oh, there was a little man from way up where..." It's like, what the hell? That's like a Prokofiev melody.
There was a gentleman from way up north, and Kijay was his name. And he got strange answers from a magic board, 'cause Ouija was his game. Kijay's Ouija, Kijay's Ouija board, Kijay's Ouija, we should have believed before. I took my favorite
Lieutenant Kijay was something that it was written by Prokofiev. It's the same melody that was used like about 7 years later by Emerson, Lake and Palmer in, I believe, in Father Christmas at the very end of it. But they did it first. So it's this crazy song about, it just gets weirder and weirder about like what they find through Kijay's Ouija board. And there's these predictions like everyone who kicks a little dog will surely lose his feet. And then there's a key change, and then, it's crazy. And there's like, at the end, there's bombs falling on the earth. It's nuts. So and here's the thing, even when they're doing like normal songs that were just kind of around then, like I'm going to play a little bit at the end of Butterflies Are Free. And you can hear that the arrangement is just incredible. The way that the vocals are, it's like one brother and sister. They're in pairs, kind of snaking around each other. And just listen. I'm not going to talk about this next thing that I enjoyed this year. I'm just going to play it.
In the living room, the voice clock sang. Tick-tock, 7 o'clock. Time to get up, 7 o'clock.
Yes, that really is Leonard Nimoy reading a Ray Bradbury story over electronic music. The artist who put it together is Zarelli, one person, I believe Zarelli. That's how you're going to find it. Before people could write, they kept their history in songs or epic poems, and that's the connection here, because the book I want to talk about is historical fiction, but the events took place before there was writing in this culture, which was Norway. So you know that these deeds were just remembered through these songs, and it's exciting stuff. This is, Vikings, so it's people sailing around and fighting each other, and political intrigue, and people trying to steal or control each other's land, and alliances forming and falling apart, and sword fights. So the thing is, it's called The Half-Drowned King, and it's by Linnea Hartsuyker, Hartsuyker. Maybe it's Hartsuyker. I don't know. I'm sorry that I don't know. I guess I should have tried to find out. Anyway, it is, like I said, historical fiction, but it reads like a really good fantasy, because the Vikings believed in magic and the supernatural. So the presence of all that stuff is felt, even though, it's not really happening. If you're into, Brandon Sanderson or Patrick Rothfuss, Joe Abercrombie, those kinds of authors, you would definitely enjoy this, even though it's historical fiction. People, if you like, the thing is, though, I just got to tell you that it's really detailed and really well written. So, the details are like, she'll put like just a couple details into a scene that give you the feel kind of what's going on, but it's not like a Victorian novel where it seems like there's 3 pages of descriptions of dresses and everything before anything happens. Here, it's more like you just get just enough to understand what's going on and appreciate the world around it, and that makes it possible for her to keep the momentum of the story, and also use the time in between arguments or whatever to explain. You kind of get a sense of how people are feeling and how they're going to grow through it. I think the 2 main characters are the brother and sister in this book, and it seems like everything kind of circles around from them. And the author is descended from the guy that the sister must end up with at some point. So that's really very cool thing. So she's writing about her family, even though it's like 12 or 1300 years ago. And after I read the book, just a few days ago, I was doing some genealogy work of my own, and it turns out I'm descended from the brother. So it's kind of strange to think I'm like 50 or 60th cousins with the author of the book, but I am, and that's not why I liked it, because I didn't know that when I read it, but maybe that's why it grabbed me. Back to music. Another album that came out this year that I was really intrigued by is Melanie DeBiasio. Lilies is the title of the record, and she's Belgian, and people call her a jazz singer. I haven't heard her first album, so I don't know if it's more of a jazz kind of thing. It comes with a CD, which I can't show you because it's in my car. You get lyrics. She does sing in English. Well, maybe we should just listen for a second.
I should have gave the leash to your soul, but now I've lost control, and there you wander aimlessly. For you that freedom's your goal, but I'm telling you, your freedom is the end of me. Your freedom is the end of me. Freedom is the end of me. Your freedom is the end of me.
Definitely check this out. Clear vinyl, by the way, and like I said, the CD comes in it. There was a time, like maybe 10 years ago or more, when I used to write something I was calling the Classic Rock Collectors Club. It was an email newsletter where I thought we could focus more deeply on, classic rock and prog and things. And, not doing it anymore. But there was a prog section called The House from Prog Corner. And I'll see if I can find the graphic some point, but it was like the hut of Baba Yaga, somehow combined with poo. I forget what it was, but it's pretty cool. So let's talk about a couple prog releases that I was into. This is a Italian group Nexus. And as you can hear, I'll just play some of it for you. They absolutely nail that good 70s symphonic prog sound. That's when we think of bands like Genesis or Yes, where it's a big, well, let's just listen. Also want to point out, if you look here on the back, you'll see that it's limited to 300 copies, but it's only been out a little while, so you should be able to get one of them if you want one. And it is very, very cool. And you get, insert with it. Now I'll stop here. Anyway, I'll, keep watching. I'll see you next year. I hope you found some good stuff. And until the next episode, I hope you're listening to something awesome.